What's up guys, it's Parker here, and welcome back to another Hypixel UHC guide video. I want to thank you guys a lot for the support in the first one, how to kill bee hoppers. You got a lot of support. This one's going to be a little different than the first one. It's going to be a guide on how to fight on and against dare/horses, because a lot of you guys seem to struggle, or at least I see a lot of people struggle fighting dare, and they find it really annoying, as well as horses. And then also some people aren't that great on horses, so this is pretty much a guide for those people. So these are some tips and tricks, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so I'm going to first start with the methods of how to fight against a horse, because that's what people mostly struggle with. So let's get right into that. So the very first method to fight against a dare or horse, and probably the one that's most used, is to just dig straight down. This is very useful if you don't have a bow or any arrows, and I definitely recommend having a shovel on your hotbar at all times. The instant you see a horse, you should dig down right away. One thing I'd recommend doing first, though, is to block up around you and wall up so the horse can't shoot you while you're going down. Because it's very easy if you're on a dare or horse to land the shots, because if you don't have walls around you, the horse is just going to hit you out when you're trying to dig down, especially if you don't have an efficiency shovel. So the first method is just dig straight down. Make sure if you're digging straight down, though, is that the guy in the horse is not more stacked than you. If he's more stacked than you, it'll be very easy for him to just hop off the horse, take off the saddle, and dig straight down on you. So this method I would only use if you're more stacked or equally stacked to the person, or you have a lot more health than the person who's on the horse. Alright, so the second method, and the method that I use the most to fight dares and horses, is to just play very aggressive versus them. So when you're fighting a dare and horse, one thing that many people don't realize is that if you just run away, it basically lets the person you're fighting land free shots on a dare and horse, and they're obviously going to catch up to you because horses are normally faster. Occasionally their horses are slower, but they're normally faster than players running. So they'll just land free shots as you run away, and they can keep moving and shooting. So one thing I like to do is basically try and play very aggressive. You want to hold your ground, and if they decide to run back, push up on them. Because it's very hard to fight. One thing people don't know, it's very hard to fight on a horse if players are pushing up on you and landing shots. Another thing to note is that a rod is very good versus horses and dares. If you can manage to reel the horse in with your rod and quickly crit it out, the player will not know what to do. And you can honestly horse NCP him, which will quickly drop him if you don't want to kill the horse. That way the player, it's very effective versus horses and dares. Honestly, versus dares, it's going to be very hard to rod the person in, so I'd recommend just using your bow. But versus regular horses, definitely try and rod the horse. So another thing to pay attention to is the different terrain around you. When fighting horses in dare, one thing you want to do is make sure you're not in a plains or desert. Pretty much, if you're on any sort of flat ground, it will be very easy for the horse or dare to chase you. One thing I suggest doing is either get to a forest as your first option. If not, you can get on a mountain, or even lower ground is good versus horses, because if they're on flat ground, they're going to be able to bow at you very easily and catch up to you very easily and surround you. Obviously, if there's no terrain around you and there's only flat ground, try and wall up and dig down, or play very aggressive versus the dare or horse. Alright, so now since we've gone through all the methods of fighting against a dare, I kind of want to go through the methods of fighting on a dare. Well, and a horse as well. One thing to note, though, is every single person fights differently on a horse or dare. This might not be the way you guys fight on horses or dare, but I just want to try and help the people who struggle with it. And these are kind of my tips. Alright, so the first thing to know when fighting on a horse or dare is who you're fighting against. You gotta pay attention to whether the player has a bow, how good the player may seem to be, and whether he's gonna fight back. If the player's fighting very aggressive versus your dare and he's got a bow, one thing you want to do is try and keep your distance and keep a good strafe. So what I like to do is kind of circle around the player and snap and do a flick shot on him. This can be very helpful. One thing to pay attention to is, though, it's more important to dodge than to hit shots, and this is what I've learned when fighting on horses and dare. It doesn't matter how many shots you hit, but one thing you want to do is just keep your horse alive. Obviously, you want to hit some shots, so don't completely miss, but aim in a certain direction, and eventually you'll start hitting shots. So if the players you're fighting are not trying to fight back and they're just running away or trying to dig down, you honestly don't even need to focus on dodging. You can just stand still on your horse or run in a straight line. It's very helpful to just, focus on your shots, go in a straight line, because most of the time when they're running away, they're just going to keep running in a certain direction, and you're going to land just free shots on them. So just try and keep your distance just in case they turn around and try and rod your horse. Alright, so a very important tip when fighting on a dare horse is to never get off your dare horse unless you for sure can get the kill. If you do decide to get off your dare horse and you're going to definitely dig out on a player, one thing I do is take off your saddle just in case a player comes above you. Alright, so this next tip is more for horses and not for dares, since you can't really heal dare. One thing to do when you're fighting on a horse is try and keep your horse alive with bread. If you have any sort of sugar, bread, apples, use it to heal your horse. It's honestly will be very beneficial. If your horse gets down to like 4 hearts, like 4 horse hearts or lower, quickly run away a bit, hop up your horse and heal it. Make sure a good distance, I'd say like 30 blocks or so it's very difficult for the player to shoot your horse before getting off to heal it. Alright, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this guide video. If you guys want to see more guide videos, please leave a like below and comment what guide you want to see next. I'm willing to do pretty much anything, so please let me know. I mean, I just really want to help you guys out because a lot of you guys ask my streams what to do here and what to do there. So yeah, please leave a comment what you guys want to see, and peace out.